Well, hello, welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, and I'm here with hubby.
Hubcap.
And this is your home of burning and learning. Sorry we missed last night that I had to cancel. It was just one of those nights. I kind of needed a break, and I had blood drawn yesterday, and that always wipes me out.
You had a flare up.
Well, yeah, that always, yeah. So, we are going to quickly look at the reflection of the bear under the water, and then we are going to look at the background of the rocks. I'm sorry I don't have the rest of the water in, but I'll get there. And then we'll be done with this piece, and we'll go into World Pyrography Month, which starts this Saturday. Woohoo!
What the hell?
What? I didn't do it. Did you go to the wrong video? You went to the wrong video.
Well, I was waiting for the live and this popped up.
Okay, just hit
I know what to do.
Okay. Anyway, so.
Because I commented on the other one.
Oh, okay. Well, we're good now. Hey, Andrea, Sheila, Spence, Beryl, Teresa. Making sure I got everybody. There we go. So, right here, I'm going to get the camera on my face in a second. I just wanted you to see the full piece. This is still a work in progress. Everything still needs to go darker. Yeah. Okay, so with the reflection, what we see in... Hey, Jeremy. In the photo, let me pop up this photo down here at the bottom. Hey, Carmen. We're looking at the reflection of the bear under the water. So we can see the bear under the water. What we don't see is any detail. And this isn't going to give the best example, but it shows you what water does to a subject when it's in there. If you can see my straw, it looks bigger. You can see the detail because the camera's close, but in the water here where Beryl took the photo, this bear is much further out. I cropped it and zoomed it in for us. We're not going to still see any fur. It's all dark under there. Let's see here. We also have the reflection of the drips coming off of the bear. So that is down in the water as well. But all this dark area that you're seeing on screen with the photo is the bear actually in the water. We need to have that dark because if we just don't put the dark and we keep it lighter, it's going to look like we cut the bear off. And it's just the head of the bear. We need to make sure to include those darks in this corner so that so your viewer, when they're looking at your piece, they see and feel what you're trying to convey. Because if we just go light all the way across, then we just chop the bear off here. So that's why we look at all these little different things while we're burning to get the, hey Dave, to get the desired effect. So I'm going to zoom in, get the camera out of my face. There we go. And I think, gotta fill my reference. This is further down. I actually extended it down. Because I did that, and I think I did it for your guys' photo as well, maybe. No, actually, no, I didn't. I think this is because my board was bigger compared to how I wanted the bear laid out. So as you look, you can see where the bear goes down in an angle, and it'll keep getting smaller and smaller as we come down. So this will be lighter, and it'll get smaller coming down. On this side, it'll remain darker because not only on this side is the bear casting a dark shadow, the light's hitting him, he's casting a shadow on the water, but we also have him underwater. Alrighty, so let's go. We're going to go ahead and I think start in this corner because it'll just make things easier. And I'm going to actually have to turn the board so that I have a better angle. I still want to go in the angle of the water, how the water is moving down over our bear. There we go. Camera's out of my face now. And this will be easier for me to get to. Excuse me.
Earl wants to know if you use mostly a spoon shader for the water.
I have gone back and forth, actually. I've used the 18S spear shader like what I have here. I've used 2 different spoon shaders. For the smaller areas around like the drips and ripples, I've used the 9M. Trying to find the tip that I like the most. I've also used the 18M. And I keep coming back to the 18s for it. But it would also depend on your wood that you're burning this on. Now, if I remember right, Beryl is doing it on basswood like I am. So I'm just going to go in dark. I'm at just shy of 4, but the pen's been heating up a lot. So it's going to be darker. And this is also going to make me darken everything else up. So I'm just flat to the board and I'm dragging down because that's the direction of the water. We do have some lighter areas that won't be dark as this, but they will be darker than other areas. And that's where paying attention to your reference makes a difference.
Oh, it's really dark.
It's really dark. I can smell it.
Yeah,
Got a little smoke going on.
See the smoke.
Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to make them perfectly straight. We want some of these lighter, some of these a little blurry, because it would be blurry. So I'm just kind of crisscrossing over the stroke and blending it out. Bring it down. See, over in the bottom right of the photo, the bear was up against a fallen tree, so you see the roots. Beryl and I decided it was too distracting, so I cropped it so that we didn't see that. So I extended the water of how I see it here. I extended it down so that it would make more sense. So we do have light ripples right here from one of our drips. I'm just going to go up across it, up against it. But I'm intentionally using the full flat of the tip, the full bottom of it flat, in order to get a more blurry stroke, because we don't have any detail here other than where it's coming down from the ripples. We have a little bit more, but a lot of this is all blurry, and this is actually how I should have done excuse me, the other parts, but I'll have to go back and do more work to blur it out. You could use a spoon shader for this.
Sorry about sniffing.
You ate something. You always sniff after you've eaten something.
I always start.
Alright, so I'm just going around where some of the lighter areas are. I'm not going to stress about them right now. But right now it's going to look really dark and really out of place. 2 ears here is still in the ugly stage. So it's just going to be more filling in, making sure that the dark here matches the dark of the bear, which I still need to darken, but I have gone pretty dark here. So that's about what it's going to be. And I just intentionally lifted my pen here to drag out, to let it reheat a little bit. Doesn't need to be perfectly smooth. What I mean is all areas the same tonal value. Sorry, my brain went and hit a wall. And then we will lighten out as we go over here and pay attention to where our lights are from the ripples. It all plays together. Let's see here. Let's go ahead. You got a little ripple there. But in here I'm using the tip, so it's burning darker. Overlapping some areas. We need to get it right next to them. Remember, when I speed up the pen, it burns lighter. I'm trying not to go right up against the bubbles right now because I need to preserve them. Okay, so right here where it's a little lighter, and that could be that the light is hitting the bear under the water. It's not white. It is lighter than the burn around it. I'm just going to go over it real quick, literally quick, and then I get a lighter burn. And then I can slow down and darken up around it so that makes more sense as to why there's a light there. Still blurring it out. But I'm not going to go right up to the bear until I finish laying everything else in. Am I still on camera? Okay. So this is just a back and forth. And see here, I don't have any more of a reference. I'm just going to keep repeating what I'm doing. Making some jagged darks. Because when we get reflections and ripples, it's jagged just like the light ripples are over here. So we want some of that. And just go back and forth. One thing we're not going to get to do on camera is me wipe off with denatured alcohol and explain that more as to why I do it. I'm thinking about doing maybe one more live where we clean off the board, we put the highlights in, because I haven't done a highlights video. And show how I'm going to highlight this. So we might do that next month. So right now it looks ugly. Don't freak out.
Carmen has a question, but I think it was covered in an earlier video.
Oh, go ahead.
She wants to know how to do the bottom left-hand corner of the water streaming off the bear.
What, this? Yeah, there's a whole video just on that.
Yeah.
So even darker, which means this area goes darker, and it'll be a back and forth. When you want it darker, go slow, lift your pen up for a second, let it heat up. The Optima pens recover very quickly. So really it's just a second. And back and forth. We got darks, but even our lights in this are darker than what I've got. We're reflecting the bear in the water. Nothing is going to be detailed. No details.
Yep, you're going to be adding blue, right?
Yeah, blue and white. I do want to see how the blue works with the sepia of the burn. Just to see if it gives us something a little bit different.
And
I'm just curious.
Spence says, I would like to see that, Val. I think you
Okay.
responded to what you said a minute ago.
Because I am trying to figure out what we're doing for the lives for next month. I don't know if I want to do World Pyrography Month live, or if that's something I want to spend just me doing, and then making a video after it's all done. I haven't decided yet. So this, it'll be just going back and forth, darkening. Do this. And as I darken the rest of the water in the background, it will make more sense. But this definitely shows that I need to go darker around here. Looking at my reference, I need to go darker around here. Make sure I get all, I haven't burned in here yet, so make sure I get the darks in here. Because this is also part of the reflection of the bear. You can think of this as the nose. But you can see the darker ripples. I know my printout isn't as smooth. What I can do is pop that up and see what we can see for a second. It does look a little smoother, but we do have splotchiness in here just like we do over here. So just keeping that in mind, maybe burning a little lighter and giving space for that so you don't have to go back and fix it later.
So Spence says what he'd like to see is about the denatured alcohol and the highlights.
Yeah, that's what I thought we were talking about.
And then, what kind of blue will you be using? Will it be paint or pencil?
I will probably use watercolor pencil because I want it tinted, but I don't want it in your face. And if I use like acrylic paint, it'll be in your face unless I really water it down. Let's see here, turn that over there. So I'm thinking watercolor pencil is my Albert Brewer. And let's see, what colors do we have here? I'm going to pop this back up so I can see the colors. My Albert Brewer. Some of the chalk for the high white, well, that I might use acrylic paint or...
It's a very light blue.
Well, I'm looking at the high highlights, the white, like on the tip of his nose, the water coming down along the edge, which you can't see me pointing at the picture, it sucks. Yeah, based on how light the blue is, I'm thinking I'm going to go with watercolor pencil. See, some of the blue is also up here on the head, on the cheek, down here on his shoulder, which right now is blending into the water. I just needed it to have a place. And then down here in some of the ripples will also have blue. But that's what I'm thinking. I think it'll look pretty with the light blue because blues do tend to go well with browns.
Yep.
And it's just going to be really light and not anything too harsh. So won't be acrylics on that. Alrighty, so we are going to look at the rocks here. I'm going to pop it up. We have 2 layers of rocks. We have the rocks that are getting hit by the light. We have rocks that are further on in the background. We see very little detail of the rocks in the background. I mean, we see very little detail on any of the rocks, but we do have 2 layers going on where the light is hitting and where those are even further back, so they are just blobs. There's nothing there. Looking at my photo, I may put some blue here on the rocks as well, so that it all works together. If I just did it on the bear in the water, it might throw it off a little bit. So looking at my photo, there will be some blue that I add, and I haven't done any of the fuzzy stuff here. I've switched over to the large spoon shader. I am at just shy of 3, and I'm choosing the spoon shader because it'll help to keep getting any kind of sharp angles. I don't want no sharp angles, and I think I'm gonna pop up so I can reach it better. There we go. Camera out of my face. That can work. Okay, sorry about that. And I'm going to start in the very back first. And the reason for that is that's where we've got all these darks that are going to help define this second layer without being any sharp lines. We don't want any sharp lines whatsoever. So I'm moving quickly in ovals. I'm hitting where the darkest part of the shadow is first, because then I can blend it out. And also the spoon shader will kind of give texture, though you don't see texture. It'll just help fill out the piece. So I'm going to start in the dark area back here. So this is this rock right here that I'm working on. It does get darker, so I'll slow down. And I'm just shy of 3, under. Slow down, so we can get a little bit of darks here. And in doing these big ovals and overlapping, it just fills it out more and quicker. Now we have some lighter blurry here, so we're just going, it's almost like I'm sketching with a pencil versus drawing harsh lines.
Teresa has to go.
Bye, Teresa.
Dentist appointment.
Oh, hopefully it's not too painful.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this area is going to darken once I get the front part in. This is just laying in so I can erase and figure out my tonal values. Like this right here is really dark. It's one of the darkest areas until we get up to this corner. So we're just going to lay that in. Now everywhere rocks overlap, there is going to be some kind of shadow in other cases, but because this is so far blurred in a way, the tonal values all kind of stay the same. I know that. Let's pull out this photo.
I see a rock.
You see a rock?
But I also see something else that looks like a rock.
We only want it to look like a rock. We don't want any kind of defining lines.
But I think it could be a rock lobster.
Oh, my brain didn't go there. Owie.
Rock lobster?
Okay, Peter. No, don't do the other one. Don't do the other one. So this actually needs to go darker. We see it from our sepia photo. We're just not actually going all the way along this edge, because if you look, it's actually blurry. So we don't want to, we want to leave a gap. We've got some burn in there. Leave it lighter while we darken this area. And really it's just taking the time and paying attention to these little details. No rush. I understand, you know, if you need to rush a commission because they didn't give you enough time, but even then things would work out. You can talk them into slowing down, but on this piece and all the community projects there are no rushes. Now what I have over here, I'm actually going to up my heat just a little over 3 because I need to get a blurry line. And so as we get close to the rock, that gets lighter so that we have room to make it blurry. I know that may not sound, let me see if I can figure out a way to explain it better. It may be a little confusing. We do have blurriness here and we do have burning, but it's not detailed. So we leave a little space that we can blend out later. So just have a blurry line. I'm just going to put on this side so we can see what I mean. Hopefully. And these are just shapes. If it's off a little bit, not a big deal. They're just shapes. Let's see here. We've got a line, blur line that comes here. So we'll just blur that in. It's fine details and sharp lines that will keep it from looking blurry, which is why I need to blur these out even more. I may do a little sanding to lighten them, which happens a lot after a live. I see that maybe I went too dark and I have to correct it. Alright, so we have blurry here, and then I'm going to erase the line. You see it goes off, the shape's a little different. Let's get rid of that graphite. These you can just look at your photo and just kind of put them in. That's why there's not a whole lot of lines transferred, because it excuse me, doesn't really matter. Alright, now remember my pen has just sat down for a second. It's going to be darker. If you hit your test board, it draws the heat out just for a second. And touch down doing big circles quickly. Or you can breathe on the tip. And that will need to go darker. Alright, so now we need to do the same tonal value as our line that we stopped at, because it's the same. Break it up. You don't want it sharp. Make sure I'm still on camera. And then I will go back and put some more heat in. And see, there's a lot of texture here. Totally fine. You can also still use the spear shaders I've been trying to give my pens a workout. And sometimes another pen will do a better stroke that you like better. Totally okay to switch out. Alright, I'm going to go up closer to 4 because I have burn down on the board now. It's going to take more heat to darken it.
Since these are just shapes, would this be a good time to experiment with the pens you have?
Sure. Would not hurt. You really can't mess this up. The only thing is not having sharp lines and paying attention to where your light is. That's it. There's nothing else to worry about.
Okay.
In fact, I can switch over and see if I actually like this spear shader better. I just wanted to give my spoon some work. And sometimes it helps to shift the brain a little bit. Now I know that's going to heat up differently. Excuse me. You can use any. You could even use your ball tip for this part. I would suggest the largest ball tip because it's going to leave a lot of texture. And just also remember when you're heating up on lower settings, it takes a little longer for the pen to heat up. So we can even go flat. And use more of the back end of the tip to get that blurry look. And then rock it forward to meet these two.
So I know we're coming up on 30 minutes, but I know also we're going longer today.
Well, as long as... Do we have any questions? What's going on?
Be quiet for a little bit.
Did we lose them?
I think they're watching.
Okay.
Let us know if you're watching, chat. And if you don't answer, I know that you weren't watching.
Just bring it up using the back end of the pen. And also remember, especially with basswood, you may get a different burn color based on how you use the pen and the heat setting.
Like how different?
Well, right here it has more of a gray tone versus the sepia red tone.
Huh.
And for some reason, that's just how basswood is.
I don't see that, but I'm not attuned to it, so.
Well, I guess that's a good way to point out that just because you see it doesn't mean somebody else is going to see it.
Carmen wants to know if this is the last video in this series, or is there another one?
Other than it's the last burning in the series.
Okay, so then we won't have any more lives of the bear?
Again, I think once I got everything laid in, have everything laid in, I think we will do a live on this one for the highlighting.
Okay.
Just so we can focus about the highlighting.
That'll be it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be no, this is the last burn live.
That's funny.
What?
I guess at one point, because I'm so small in the background.
Yeah, I know.
I was rubbing my chest and my head was blocked out. It looked like a tiny hand was rubbing you. Sheila says that they're all enthralled.
Okay. I never know. Alright, so this will go darker. It is always a back and forth, because either something needs to go darker or maybe you accidentally went a little too dark in an area. And if you darken up other areas, it will look natural versus leaving it. So you have to go back and forth. Alright, so here we're going to bump down to the lighter area. What we're going to do is actually skip that lighter area, leave a space. And see this area We do see the shadow, so the burn needs to be a little darker, but it's going to be lighter than the background. I'm going to...
Oh, you had leaned over and I was doing the tiny hand thing. Then you moved. You ruined the illusion.
I ruined the illusion. I'm just pulling the graphite, because remember the graphite will show through a lighter burn. And it's also can be harder to remove. So it's better, if possible, if you could do the negative burning around it so that you can just erase it. Let's see here. We got a dark right here that's really blurry. So let's get that in there. And this is a big dark. We don't see any detail. I don't know. Did I say that enough? Did I mention we don't want any detail?
I seem to remember something about that.
Okay,
yeah.
I just want to make sure.
You've been mentioned a few times.
That's the best way to get your blurry background. And the blurry background really helps the rest of the piece. It'll focus the bear in more. It fills in so it doesn't feel like something's just floating. Let's see, we got a dark here because I got a graphite here to represent it. I'm just full pin down. He's moving the pen around. No detail. In fact, if you're feeling overwhelmed with the water, it wouldn't be a bad idea to jump up to the rocks and just kind of meditate, because
well, you can certainly go back and forth so
yeah,
that you didn't get
burned out
too much in the zone and
yeah,
start doing something. In fact, you probably should go back and forth.
Yeah. It allows your brain to relax, and when you come back to it, you notice something that you didn't see before. So it's just a good break. In fact, I was doing that filling in the water. I'd be working on detail down here. My brain would kind of get a little, I'm getting bored, so I'd bump up and work on darkening and trying to blur out the water more. That's why there's darker areas that are kind of splotchy, because I kept bouncing. And then we'll just blend them out. All my references are curled. Just the bottom of the pen. No details. Let's see here. This part was darker. So let's get that in so I can kind of remove the graphite for this one. Excuse me. Oh, that was probably too close to the mic. I'm sorry. Alright, let's break it up. We don't want any uniformity. You just want it to push back.
No, because if you see a repetition, a pattern, or a form, then
it throws off the blur.
Yeah, it's gonna look off. It's gonna be something that your eyes focus on.
Yeah. See, this is
Greg's here.
Hey, Greg.
He's just coming on for a little bit.
Blur it out. See, I'm overlapping over areas I've already burned just to smooth blur out. We don't want any lines. This is lighter. Gotta blur this one out more.
Spence wants to know, how many hours a day do you burn?
Yeah, it depends on how I feel. I don't always burn every day. I meant to try to work on this last night, even though I canceled the live, and
you did for a while.
When sitting is about I've been able to extend my sitting time with the Optima pens. The max I can go up to is an hour and a half. And that's if I'm pushing hard. I average one sitting is about an hour, and then I've got to take a break. My hand starts hurting, and my body starts hurting, and I just have to stop.
Yeah.
And when I'm trying to get something done, I try to burn at least 2.5 to 3 hours in the morning, and at least 2 hours at night. I have to have a break, which is nap time, lunch and nap time. And I've got to go, because I have to sleep with a wrist brace. So I have to go put my brace on and rest. Basically, I have 2 days in one. It's really how it is. Meaning morning to lunch is one day, one day, and then after lunch is like going to bed for the night.
Well, that's true. Like if you consider days were like divided by sleep periods, then we would have a 14-day week.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time, you're not as bad as me.
Who, me?
Yep.
No, what I do is I get into the studio when I'm on a project, and then I work for long hours, and then I finish the project, and then I don't do anything for a week, which is
at least.
I'm just back into the studio now after like what, almost 2 weeks, or is it 2 weeks?
I'd say 2 weeks.
Because the 15th is when we had to submit for that.
17th.
17th.
We did it on the 16th.
So, okay, so from the 17th, I just got back in the studio yesterday.
I know right now that looks like a mess, but as you put more in and we darken, what is my camera doing? And as we darken this area even more, we have to look at the tonal values of, I'm going to pop this off the screen, of the different areas. So when we're looking at this, we can see that our darks up here are actually pretty similar to our darks that are in the ripples. This part of the rock is as dark as this part, and this part is, and I know it's a bad printout, this part is almost as dark as this part. But through all this, we know this part of the bear, the nose, the cheek, under his chest, that those are the darkest areas of our piece. Okay, I'll just put that off. And so we have to balance, go back and forth, balancing to get that. Now with the color photo, this part is even darker. It's similar to that, but I did put a vignette on it. I wanted to say vinaigrette, but that just...
Are we going to have it as a salad?
Yeah, we're going to have it as a salad. But looking, our bear...
Reference photo, so good.
Yeah, our bear is the darkest part of our piece. And some of these tonal values in the rock match the water. And so that is when I say trying to balance out the piece, I'm looking at other areas of the piece and going, okay, this area is just as dark as this one with the light here in the middle. So we have to balance and get those tonal values as close as I can get in order for it to feel balanced. Because if I did, say, a strip of dark this way, that was too much more than the water, then it would throw it off. So when you were looking at it, you'd kind of feel like you're going off the board.
What you can do if you have a problem with that is you can make 2 different pieces of paper that have cutouts in them, and then you can compare those areas. Yep, you can do that, and so you can look at. You got one taped to the top there.
Well, I was using it for the white, but I can.
So then you can see without having the distraction, because your eyes will mess with you as far as values, but you can see better the values of something if you remove the stuff that's around it.
So you're not looking at anything else but that square right there. And I have a video on how to make this, which is very, Very easy. Did I make a video on how to make this?
I don't know.
Or did I just talk about how I
It's
made
been
this?
so long.
I know. We're almost up to 300 videos. There's things I forget.
Yep, we're still here, Moritz.
We're about to leave, Moritz. So, yeah, this way, and you can make these squares bigger or smaller for whatever information you need. Or that allows your eye just to focus on what's in your square. And then you can also use it on your piece so that you're looking. Let me see if I can line it up right based on how I have this. Right. Based on my photo. For the eye, it's right about there. And it allows me just to focus. In theory, you wouldn't see the rest of the board, but it's fine. Because right now you're just looking at that square. Which that may be confusing. But that does allow you to see the tonal values easier. All this needs to go darker. It needs, even the darks in here need to go at least as dark as this, which means the bear needs to go at least as dark as this areas. Back and forth, back and forth.
Moritz is done with his Ghost of Tsushima.
Ah, okay. We're not going to talk about it.
No.
We're not gonna talk about it. Do we got any more questions on our bear?
I don't see any, but give it a second.
Yeah. So remember, we've got a white set of rocks that are getting hit with the light.
Mm-hmm.
Then it gets darker. Then it gets darker, 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 lighter, because that's where the water is rippled and bouncing the light.
So based on the lighting, it looks like this was done like right around midday. Is that right, Beryl? Because look how dark the bottom of...
Okay, but remember, I put a vignette on this. So
I'm looking at the lighting on the bear.
On the bear? Oh, with it being here and here?
Yeah.
If I had to guess lighting-wise,
It's a little bit of an angle.
I'd ask around 11 a.m.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. And that's because we can
Beryl,
see...
what time was it?
And our guess is because we can see where all the things are lighter here.
And Beryl will be like, it was 6 p.m.
Which would mean he was facing the other direction. We don't know if he's facing east here or west. That will make a difference in the time. You know? So.
Sheila, are you disagreeing with Greg?
Did we already get a thumbs down?
We had one from the get-go.
Yeah, what you gonna do? Somebody hate watching.
Yep.
From the get-go?
Yeah, haters are gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. Probably around 10:30 to 11. Haha, so he's facing... Oh, hold on.
More towards 10:30.
More towards 10:30. So he's facing east?
West, she says.
West? Then the light would be hitting here.
Huh?
If he was facing west, like I have him here,
I don't really think that's important.
light would be
direction.
hitting back here.
I feel like you're getting off on a tangent. Like, which cardinal direction is he facing? That has nothing
Well, don't
to do with
forget
the art.
River's
Has
turn.
nothing to do with the art.
I know. Well, we're just discussing how the lighting is hitting the bear.
Yeah.
But yes, this is about 11 o'clock.
10:30, she says.
Okay. How about the long water dripping down? This right here is going to be the same as this. That's why I haven't put it in yet. Okay, fine.
What?
Fine. He's arguing with the West. Okay, I will give it to her because she was there and we weren't.
She took the picture.
She took the picture, so I will be good and not sit here and argue with
Well, it's
her.
luckily you're not known to be argumentative.
Maybe south. Oh, now you're changing. Sheila said that the thumbs down was before the live started. Yay, I got a hater. They also hated World Pyrography Month. They hated the last live.
It's the Grinch.
It's the Grinch. But even the Grinch told people why he didn't like them. So.
Oh, Sheila says no more questions. I thought you were responding to Greg. Greg is like, I've been trying to do final transitions and balancing without looking at the reference.
And that's good.
Sheila's like, nope.
No, what Greg is doing is good because that is when more the artistic part comes in. What you want to see more of and less than. As long as you've got everything laid in and you've got your details where you want them, and then putting away your reference to do all the final balancing, that is really where all the creative part comes in if you're doing a static photo like this. And
the more, especially towards the end of a piece, the more experienced you are at understanding nature and how light and physics and stuff works, then the more that you'll feel what looks right and make those adjustments. That's part of the artistic part. Stuff.
Bro, I gotta argue with you on that one. Your rivers may flow east-west.
She just wants to argue, so.
I'm gonna show that.
I already did.
Okay. Okay, yes, tells me another moderator. Look, you got to do something. You've never had to moderate the chat like that before.
Yes, I have.
Oh.
I do my job.
I just haven't seen it.
Yeah. So now my job is to do stuff so that it is seamless, so that you don't even know that I'm here.
Then you need to learn
Just
to click the buttons.
a tiny hand on the side of your face.
I
need to click the buttons.
You need to
harder.
learn to click all the buttons on here so I don't have to do anything. Yes.
Look, I'm hubcap for a reason. I'm only marginally helpful, okay?
No, hubcaps make things look pretty.
I got 2, maybe 3 things to do in this stream, and that's the way we're going to keep it.
Oh, so I get to do all the other work.
Huh?
I get to do all the other work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. So no, Greg, you're absolutely doing what you should because then you're making the piece your own. Carmen, I don't know that anybody can teach you artistic. Because that's all so personal and subjective to the art. I can show you the technical aspects and some of the technical of why you do this versus this in regards to just drawing in general. But as for the artistic stuff, that is all you're doing and there's nothing to learn other than yourself.
Yeah, it's going to develop over time.
Yeah.
It's like when your work now will look
way different
in the future, and that's just because.
And she's doing an awesome job on it, Beryl. You're a boy toy.
I'm a boy toy.
Yes, you're my boy toy.
Yeah, you have no idea, Beryl. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't get paid for half of this stuff. I got no representation either.
Remember your nephew's here.
Huh?
Remember your nephew's here. So yeah, the artistic part, I can't teach you that. Nobody can teach you that. That's all you. Embrace you and however it comes out. As long as it's not hurting anybody else, then it works. I'm just showing you the stuff for realism and the details to look at when you're trying to create it so that you can practice those. But the artistic stuff is all you. So don't get hard on yourself. Don't get frustrated. Remember, it always stays ugly until it's finally not ugly. In 2 years, sorry, bud, but you're still ugly right now. 2 years is still ugly. He needs to be...
Who?
2 ears. That's what Beryl and I named the bear.
Oh, 2 ears.
Because we can see both the ears in this photo.
That's the first time I'm hearing this.
No, we've called it a couple of times.
Have you? Well, then I have not been paying attention. Points for me. Points against me. It's demerit, I know.
And now you see what I go through.
You like it.
Alrighty, so I gotta figure out what we're doing next Monday night. I am not sure. I don't think I want to... Okay, I was gonna ask this, and Spence is here, and he's one of the winners. Shoot, Teresa left. And Kim's not here. I still need to get Jonathan done. I am starting over on Jonathan. I've gotten a new board for him. And I'm also changing the aspect of the photo because we're adults. In the photo, Jonathan, the full photo, Jonathan is nude. He's sitting on
Remember your
his
nephew.
It's okay. Nude art is totally acceptable.
Sorry, I just want to throw that back at you.
No, he's already seen your art. He's seen nudes coming into this house. So that's no big deal. Not that he remembers it, but...
True. Selective hearing?
Selective hearing, yeah.
Hey!
So Jonathan is sitting on his knees, posed with long boots that he's wearing. I'm not going to do the full nude. You shall live. I'm not going to do the full nude, but it is going to go down to his waist. And I don't know how anybody feels about that, but I want to get the muscles because he has some awesome lighting on his muscles and how it creates his shape. So I want to extend more. If Spencer or Teresa or Kim are not interested in having a topless, that's basically what it's going to be. You're not going to see the bottom. Topless photo of Jonathan, then I will offer you a print of another piece I've done. I think that's the only... Because some people don't want to have nudes hanging in their house, and that's totally their choice.
You should never come to our house.
You should never come to our house because there's nudes everywhere. We both do them. I haven't done a nude in a long time. So I will give you the option of a different burning that I've done so that you feel comfortable. I'm not ashamed of it. And it's nothing I can't do on the live stream.
It seems like you sparked Beryl's interest.
But you don't even know who Jonathan is. He the way his shoulders and his shoulder blades and how the light hits it and then the rib muscles, and it's just a really beautiful photo. And nude men are just as beautiful as nude women. So I do kind of want to highlight. Well, not highlight it, but celebrate it. Nobody should be ashamed.
Yeah, no.
Carmen told you to wake up.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. Well, to be fair, the last couple of lives, I've been struggling with sleep deprivation.
You have.
This is the most awake I've been in weeks.
It is. It is. Nope. So, yeah, he still doesn't know who he is. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to work Jonathan live. We can at least do maybe the background. I don't know. But we're not going to do a community project for August because I just got too much stuff to get done.
We got World Pyro. Right?
Yeah, I got World Pyrography.
Too much. It's too much.
Now men are way better. You're just a dirty old woman, bro. Yeah, I got it finished. Yeah. So, I will talk to Spence and Teresa and Kim and our little group and see what they want.
I do look significant. I look like a child.
I told you that.
I
keep telling you you can raise your chair.
Yeah, but I'm comfortable.
Here,
like
how about I do this? Woo! Is that a little better?
That's not really. No.
Alrighty. So there's a playlist. Oh gosh, no. There is a playlist for the bear.
This.
I did. So if you need to go back and watch a certain area, the playlist is down in the description, and hopefully I'll get it up in the iCard after the video is processed. Let's see here.
Okay, bro.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. World Pyrography Month starts Saturday. If you're not sure what that is, I've got a video that I just released last Friday on just a quick one on that. It's a challenge. Hopefully yes. Could be, bro. Could be. And remember, your burnings are always ugly until they're not. And you didn't do your job. Say it with me.
Okay.
Say it with me.
All right.
You're awesome.
Don't test me.
You can do this.
You can do this.
You're a pyro artist.
Yeah.
Happy burning. Bye. One day you'll get it right.